How much cash should you have in retirement? Too much or too little can cost you. So today we're going to talk about the purpose of cash in retirement, determining how much cash you should actually have, and then if you are going to hold cash, where's the best place to put it? Stay tuned. Hey there, it's Alex and Anthony from One Degree Advisors, and we help you gain confidence in your retirement. So Anthony, knowing how much cash to keep in retirement is important because you're no longer working for a paycheck. And so having cash is important for things like emergencies, but it also can be really important when the investment markets are down, right? You're no longer working to get that paycheck, and if you're relying upon your portfolio to create income, it can be nice to have an extra bit of cash there as a safety net that you could pull on rather than your portfolio that is maybe down. So today we want to talk to folks about how much cash is best for them, where to park their cash, but first let's talk about, again, real basic, what is the primary objective of cash?
Yeah, and we're really talking about cash savings at the bank, that it's accessible, you're preserving your capital, it's not subject to market fluctuation, it's liquid and available, and even earning an interest rate is good, and it's where things have changed a little bit, where we actually can earn something on our cash, but it's not the highest priority just to get growth out of it. You really want to preserve capital.
I mean, several years ago, there was that common phrase, cash is trash, right? Because it wasn't earning anything. And now that cash is earning more, started earning more last year, and especially at the beginning of this year in 2023, a lot of people are evaluating, well, should I have more cash? And I think that's so important for us to identify the objective first and foremost, because if you're not grounded in the objective of your cash, you're going to be swayed in the wind with whatever people say is the most popular thing. And when things get scary, you'll go, oh, I can just load up on more cash. And that's not the goal there. So let's jump into the solutions here. Let's talk about 5 reasons or 5 ways to determine how much cash you should have in retirement.
Yeah, number one is your experience in retirement. Are you just transitioning into retirement? If so, then you probably want to have a little bit of a bigger reserve because all your income sources are changing. It gives you more flexibility and more cushion. Or are you more steady and experienced? You've been in retirement a while, you kind of know what your cash flow is.
That's exactly where the experience piece comes in. I mean, after walking families through this process, having a higher allocation to cash in the early years is so critical. It can give an extra layer of a peace of mind. And like you mentioned, once you start getting into the rhythm of retirement and you see how your income sources flow and how everything works, then you get a little bit more confident and maybe you don't need as much cash. But in those early years, not only can it help with all the income changes, but it really can provide some of that peace of mind that folks are looking for.
Yeah, that's right. And number 2 is emergencies. It's good to have an emergency fund, and the good rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months of expenses. Yep. But you also want to look at it from the standpoint of what's really your propensity for emergencies that could come up. If you own multiple properties, if you have dependents while you're in retirement, these are all things that could add to the possibility of more emergencies.
Absolutely.
Next thing is sources of income. If you have steady income, your Social Security, maybe you have a good pension on top of that. Maybe you have a rental property where you've had a renter in there for quite a while and that income is just, you're getting that check every month. Those are all reasons where maybe you could keep a little bit less cash simply because your income is steady.
And conversely, people may want to have a little bit more cash. Let's say if most, if not all their income is coming from a portfolio that could be subject to market fluctuations, right? So the more income you have from steady guaranteed income sources, maybe you don't need as much cash. But if you have income coming from sources that can fluctuate, like you mentioned, maybe you need some more cash to make sure that you can have that stability there.
Yeah, number 4 is debt. And you can also relate this to other big near-term expenses. If you have obligations that are there every month, or you have a near-term project that's coming up, then you want to have more cash to be able to take care of these obligations. Yep. And then the last thing is just what will help you sleep better at night. It's this idea of if there's a certain amount of cash in the bank that helps you be a better investor, then you really want to latch onto that target.
And there is no one-size-fits-all answer to this. I mean, some folks are going to say, hey, you know what, $20,000 in the bank, I feel good, I can sleep at night. Other folks go, I need $100,000 in the bank to be able to sleep well at night. The other thing from experience that we've learned is that there will be differences very often between spouses, right? So one spouse might say, hey, you know what, $20,000 in the bank, totally fine, I feel comfortable. And the other spouse goes, no way. I need like closer to $80,000 to $100,000 in the bank to feel comfortable and sleep at night. It's not saying one answer is right and the other is wrong, but we have to have a family meeting, if you will, unity around this to say what's the right number for us together as a family. Because if one spouse is not happy in this regard, it messes up the whole homeostasis of the home, and then nobody's happy. Now, again, we talked about it. Some banks are paying higher interest than others. Some online high-yield savings accounts and some online banks are paying higher rates. Meanwhile, traditional brick and mortar banks, even to this day, are still paying relatively low interest. So we made a video where retirees should park their cash. Folks can watch that above. Once again, this is Alex Okagawa with 1 Degree Advisors. And if you'd like to learn how we can help you with your retirement, visit our website at onedegreeadvisors.com/get started.